Hey everyone, welcome to Dating God's Way.
Brown.
Hey, daughter Nichelle, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, everyone. Come on, like and share. Come on and join the room. Hey, daughter Kanisha. Hey, you.
Hey.
Hey, good to see you online. Come on, y'all get in here. Y'all jump in here. Join in. Jump on in. Jump on in. We have an emotional topic tonight. Emotional topic. An emotional topic tonight.
Emotional topic tonight. Yes. I call it dollar bill. Pastor Will call it unequally $ oak. Okay. So we gonna get into some dollar bills,
We
y'all.
get into some dollar bills, y'all. And
Yes,
yeah, and so we just hey look, y'all come on in. We just gonna um invite you all in. Like I said, please like, share, love.
yes.
If you're on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you
Monday
are,
night,
come
y'all.
on, invite somebody into the Dating God's Way room.
Yes, we are talking money tonight.
We are talking money. We are having not a financial discussion. We're just going to talk about money. Uh, I
Money.
am by no means a financial expert.
Go ahead. I am, but not tonight. I'm not wearing that hat. We're talking about marriage and money and dating, money, the perspective or perception of money. That's what we're gonna be talking about tonight.
Yeah,
Wow.
we hear stuff like money is the cause of divorces and or money in relationships. We've talked with some of our members, especially about money and how money flow, how money, the concept of money in the relationship and how it flows um throughout the relationship, how much she makes, how much he makes. Is there a balance? Should one make less than the other? What happens if one make less than the other? So yeah, let us know if you're in the room. So I guess Pastor E, I guess we can be about 5 minutes in.
Yeah, ready to get
Yep.
started?
Hey man, let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do, I want to play this clip first.
That's right.
I want to play this clip. Um, are men intimidated by
Hey,
women making more money? Right.
are men intimidated by women making more money? That's the clip
And
you about to play?
that's the clip I'm about to play. And then Pastor E, hey, Sister Nene, hey, you.
Right.
Dre, what up, Dre? So again, then Pastor E, she got I guess she posted and somebody commented on her post or sent her a message in their post. And so we'll talk about that a little bit. Just that dynamic. Um, and then Pastor E and I, we will talk a little about our situation
All
and
right.
the situation we're in.
Ah, we're gonna talk about us. Go ahead.
We'll talk about us a little bit. And then we'll talk and then I pray that at the end of it,
At the end of it,
it's all you'll get a well-rounded
perspective.
perspective
Yeah.
about finances in your relation in a relationship, whether it's in a marriage, you're looking for a husband, and but he has to make this amount of money, or you're looking for a wife and she got to make this amount of money, and so we're gonna kick it, get into it.
Do
So
it.
yes, let's get into this video so I can stop talking here.
Let's do it.
Now we're getting money, but I mean,
We're not getting married.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're not getting married.
You're not?
No.
Then how come?
If anything, I want you to have money.
Let me start over.
You can make
Y'all get mad because now we're getting money, but I mean,
We're not getting married.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're not getting married.
You're not?
No.
Then how come?
If anything, I want you to have money. Let's bring two incomes is better than one in the household.
But why do men have an issue with that?
Because y'all try to use that as a weapon in a relationship a lot of times. And
or
so
do y'all use that as a weapon because you think, oh, we're getting money, so now we feel like we're ahead of you in the house, right?
no, it's a natural thing.
But if you're securing yourself, then that shouldn't even To me, that shouldn't exist.
Let's say you were making 150,000 a year, and we talk about this normal man. He makes 40,000 a year. He's great, everything that you want him to be. He's handsome, he's smart, he's loving, he rubs your feet, he can cook, he does all these good things. If y'all get into an argument, eventually it's going to come up about how much money he makes and how you're carrying the load, and well, first off, you probably wouldn't. Most women not going to date a man like that anyway if they're making that much more money.
Yeah.
So, but if it was the reverse, a man doesn't care.
Y'all get mad because now we're getting money, but I mean,
We're not getting mad.
I said that.
Yeah, that's it. We're not getting mad.
Well,
We're not getting mad.
well,
We're not getting mad.
go ahead. Well, let's talk about it. I think we should start with the idea that the money is the number one cause for divorce, and that is not true. So first, I want to just start statistically, because y'all know I love numbers and I love research. And my research showed me that only 20 to 40% of divorces, 20 to 40. So that is a large number, but it's not a huge number actually. 20 to 40% of marriages end because of financial problems. The number one reason for divorce is actually lack of commitment. Okay, so I'll just start with that. But even before we get into the money discussion, that there is generally something underneath, right? When we talk about money, there's genuinely something underneath that is the problem, not money itself. So I just want to start with that premise because I think it's an important foundation to lay before we get into our conversation.
Yeah.
Many people think that divorce is the number one reason for divorce is money.
Yeah.
Actually, it is not. Statistics show it is not. So anyway, I just wanted to start with that. So yeah. So I'll start with that, Pastor.
Oh, that's a good statistic. And I think it's a very important statistic because it really begins to knock down the ideas or the falsehood about the power of money and people, right? And so but money is very influential. Money is very influential in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Money is influential. I agree with that. I think, as we get started with this conversation, I think one thing to talk about is so when we talk about, I put up a picture today on our page about this idea that two things happen. So somebody's in a relationship and the man makes 80,000. Okay. The woman makes 40,000. And the perception in that case is like, wow, we $120,000 household. Love it. It's all great. Both the woman and the man is happy.
Yeah.
But when it is flipped and she makes 80,000 and he makes 40,000, then the perception of the woman, this is the graphic, is wow, you always broke. I don't care if you pay all the bills or not. You ain't a real man because you don't make as much as I make.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. I mean, why do you think that dynamic exists? Because it definitely exists. I think just like important to just go ahead and name it, that it does exist, that when the woman makes more than the man, there is a perception from the woman a lot of times and other people that are in relationship with that woman. There is a perception that the man is weaker or less than. It's some type of power play that's into that.
I'm reminded of a fictitious movie. The Tyler Perry the Tyler Perry movie where the brother-in-laws, they working on the construction together, Tyler Perry and
A Family That Prays.
A Family That Prays, right. And so I'm reminded of that dynamic where the wife working in a law firm was seemingly making bringing in money.
Well, she was making.
than making more than what her husband working the construction job was, right?
Sure.
And but his desire and his um optimism was, to start their own construction company, to do
Sure.
something, right?
Hmm.
And I think I'm probably jumping all the way to the end here
Yeah.
in this discussion, where I think we tie, or I think not we, I'm not even say we. I think money is associated with ambition and potential.
Okay. Money is associated with ambition and potential.
Yeah,
Interesting.
interesting, right? And so
Hmm.
if you're stuck making a certain amount of money, it just mean it could give a signal of you have a lot of ambition, but you don't have any activity going towards the ambition of making more. And so is it really money? I guess I now question, when does that ambition for a woman, when does that ambition turn into dollar signs?
Hmm. I guess the question is, why is that? I guess why is that an issue? Like someone else's ambition. I guess I'm just asking for myself. why why is the ambition an issue? Why do you think that is? If you have one person that is ambitious and the other person is not ambitious but can hold a steady job, right? They have security and steadiness. Is that not good?
Well, I think
I don't know. I'm just asking.
it depends on the dream that I sold you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I keep selling you a dream,
The man, this is.
the man, and I
Uh-huh.
only I'm speaking from the man perspective.
Perspective. Okay, great.
If I keep selling you a dream about how things are going to be and things are going to get better and whatever, well, you're going to look for things to get better.
I see. So
And,
if you
and
sold me a big dream,
yeah,
now you need to meet up to it.
now I got to meet up to it, or you're gonna mourn the dream that you never had.
Okay, I can see that. So I think what I hear you saying is don't sell some wolf tickets.
That's what gets you hemmed up.
Don't sell no wolf tickets. If you know that you're not an ambitious person and you're not willing to put your all into a dream, don't sell me a dream.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good. Don't sell me a dream.
yeah,
So that's where on this side the man could go wrong, is with selling a dream to a woman that he's not then willing to follow through with.
yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Go
Okay, that
after.
perspective.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
so
caution.
I don't think it's necessarily the 80K person make the 80K woman and the 40K man. I think it's the 40K man saying that I'm going to do this for we're going to live high and mighty or whatever. But every day you come home and you on your video game system, or you're doing something else, not living up to that dream that I mean, I know it's in your heart to have,
Yeah.
but you're not showing any activity of going and get it.
I mean, you talking about something very important, which is about lifestyle. Right. Okay. So if you are in either case, if you are the 40K woman or man, and the other person is making the bulk of the money, there has to be agreement about the lifestyle that you guys want to live.
There has to
There
be.
has to be agreement about lifestyle, because that's what it comes down to, right? It comes down to if that 40K woman or man is putting pressure on the relationship to go on vacations 4 times a year, to buy a bigger house, to, right? It's like, well, what are you willing to bring to the table for us to have that lifestyle? Right. I think that is where the tension comes in at around money is you want a lifestyle that's glamorous. You're telling me we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I do think sometimes the 40K man too is like, I'm the man of this house and, I'm the head and, we're going to do the money like I say, do the money.
Yeah.
That sometimes comes in with the woman making double or more, and then you gonna just push her out of the conversation about lifestyle?
Yeah.
You can't do that, dog. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that whole mentality about who is the head, it's like, yeah, you the head, you the lead for sure. But at the end of it, when we talk about lifestyle, that has to be an us conversation.
Yeah.
Lifestyle has to be we have become one. So the lifestyle that we're going to live together, that needs to be a oneness conversation, not you telling me.
And there also have to be some realistic conversations about our career paths. If I pick a career path that topples out at 60,000, 70,000,
Sure.
I can't blame you that you chose a career path that topples out at 600,000 K.
Sure. I mean, at the
Right?
end of the day, right.
It's just a career path choice, but it's my inner ambition to be at the top of my career.
Or your inner ambition to have a better lifestyle.
Right.
If you desire fine things, then you need to work for fine things.
That's it.
I think there is a balance that we don't talk about if you desire to have, Maseratis, and you desire to have big cars.
What's
Then,
up, Marcus?
hey,
Hey,
good
what
to see
up?
you, fam.
Love you too, man.
You can't come into a relationship making demands and you're not willing to work for those demands. I don't care if you the man or not, sir. If you the lead, then you got to be leading this lifestyle. You have to find some contribution, right, to that lifestyle that you're saying we must have. So I do think that that's a part of it. That's a part of the dynamic that becomes unhealthy within this question of money.
I'll say this, especially being a black man and in our black community, is that as black men, we have to be willing to cloak on all the responsibilities that come with being a black man. And that's cloak the responsibility of family, cloak the responsibility of not only this family that you're building, but also the responsibility of the family that you are born out of, right? You gotta cloak on the responsibility of your community, right? Because you're needed in your community.
Wow.
And everywhere else that you go. And I don't know if any other, because I can't really speak, but I don't know if any other ethnic group um goes through or where the responsibilities that we have to wear when we leave out of the doors of our house.
Sure, there's a different pressure on a black man. That is absolutely, I agree with that 100%. And I do think that that's why it's important for to come to that space of understanding, about lifestyle, because I think that, I guess we can get into our dynamic a little bit. You want to get into that?
Yeah, sure. No problem with that.
Yeah. So for the first 19 years of our marriage, Pastor Bill made more than me for the first 19 years. And then in 2019, the table started to flip and I started to make more money. Now, I think that, from 2019 to now, I have continued on a trajectory. And so, I think it's important to talk about, like, kind of what I don't, for me, from my perspective, our dynamic never changed because it was never about money from my perspective. And so money has never been a ruler of our household. Whether we had a little or a lot, it hasn't been a ruler. So from my perspective, nothing changed. But how about from your perspective? I'm kind of seeing that shift, and then kind of more recently taking a big shift.
So from my perspective, um, I'm still am the breadwinner.
Of course you are.
And I'm not insecure, or I'm not saying that out of some place, right? Some errant place. But I'll say this. Like, it's the power of unity. It's the power of marriage that we've tapped into.
Yeah.
And it's the power of each other that we've tapped into. And I tapped into your financial prowess, and you kept us afloat um before we were a six-figure couple, right? We spent a lot of years under that six-figure line, and there was a lot of years of faith, of just believing God that He's going to, even when I lost my job, when I got fired way back in 2001, and so it was a it was a it was teamwork, but we also utilized the best in each other.
Yeah. Sure.
And I have, kind of a pat on my back a little bit.
That's
You
right.
know, I enabled you,
Yes. You pushed
and
me
I pushed you.
for
I
sure.
spoke into your life
That's
because I knew your potential. I know what you're worth, and you still haven't tapped into it yet.
right. Oh,
You
Father.
you only tapped into a little bit of it.
Father. Y'all. How far we gonna go, Pastor? I'm just like
When you reach 1.2 mil, when you, that's how far. When you reach 1.2.
You cracked me up. Yeah, I mean,
But I'm not cracking. It's happening now.
sure.
I mean, no disrespect to you, but Black girl, you got articles now in Medium, in Wall Street Journal. Black girl, it's happening for you. So it's nothing foreign to you.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition. But but as your husband, I feel real good because I help enable that dimension in you. And when I help enable that dimension in you, it breaks open it breaks open for our kids also.
Absolutely. That's all the way transparent. I never cared about making money. I mean, I cared about working at nonprofits that help people. That was where I started at. That is where that's what I wanted to do.
And I hate it.
Yes, he hated that. Because I was just like, I don't care about making money. And he was like, dude, you need to care because you need to know your worth. And I was just like, you make the money. It's okay. I was okay. I was okay with working for caring. I was okay in the beginning of our marriage with working just for caring, like caring for people. But what you pushed and enabled in me was the getting with your worth, the importance of worth, of you work hard, you should be paid for it. But also the push of like, this is our life together. And these are the dreams we have for the Spade house. And I love the moments when you was like, when we first had kids and stuff, you was like, you can stay home, be a stay-home mom and everything. I lock everything down, but we're not gonna live in this house. Okay, we're gonna go get an apartment because that's what I can hold down. An apartment in these cars, I can hold that down, but I can't hold it down when you ain't working. And so I do think that reality is a reality that most couples don't talk about.
Yeah.
And I looked at our lifestyle. I transparently, I wanted to travel every year, 4 times a year.
Yes.
Okay, that was my lifestyle I wanted for my kids.
Yeah.
I took them on trips. Me and them went on a trip alone. We went on a trip with daddy.
I wasn't going.
Sometimes we went on a trip. I took them on separate trips, just them and mommy.
Still does.
Still do. And I knew that was part of the lifestyle I wanted. And if that was true, then I needed to be a part of that plan. I needed to contribute to that lifestyle that I wanted. And so I do think it's about having those transparent conversations with each other about what kind of life do we want. I wanted to do all that, and I still wanted to do ministry, and I still wanted to I wanted to do it all. And doing it all meant that we needed more on the table.
Yeah, because many times we look at money, or in these scenarios that we have, or these discussions that we see, um, I think what you find is that um, you see a lot of the discussion about money, their money, my money, or whatever, is possibly because they never had money.
Mm.
And when you haven't had something of that value, you clench onto it. um but as I when Pastor E and I got married, her uncle came in from Arizona, Uncle Keith. He came in from Arizona and took us to a reggae club down in
Banana.
DuPont Circle.
That's
No,
it.
no, in Columbia Heights.
Ice. Uh-huh.
It's the Columbia Heights,
All
yeah,
right.
down there. And he took us to a Jamaican club. Then it's probably still down there too. Umbunku,
I need to try it. We
Boku,
know that.
Boku,
Bukum.
Bookum, yeah. And took us to a club, and I mean, I was, we were we were in Columbia Heights, so I was holding Pastor E hand hard. I mean, and the guy said, Jamaican guy, he came of Rasta, don't hold her hand too tight. Get to let her go. And
You're so crazy.
and I was like, man, look, first of all, I'm up in this joint up in Columbia. I know where I am, and yes, I'm holding her hand tight. I ain't never letting this go, right? Um, but but the sentiment, right, is that you can't hold on to something so tight it damage you,
Yeah.
right? If you don't let it go,
Yeah.
because you just keep holding on to it, and
Mhm.
you're holding on to what you know. I never had a girlfriend like Pastor E before. I never had this relationship before, so I wasn't letting it go. And, I in my mind, I could not let it go. What I didn't see was that this was just the beginning of it all.
That's it. That's it. So I think there are three factors, Pastor Will, that we have to look at when you're talking about money. You ready for this?
Oh, let's roll with it.
Number one, you got to look at your family relationship with money.
Yeah,
What kind of relationship does your family have with money? Because I'm gonna
broke.
just tell y'all, if you come from a broke family, a broke mentality, you 100% you taking that into your marriage. I'm just telling you.
My
If
my
you don't
daddy
break
told
that
my
thing,
daddy told me. He said, "Boy, we poor."
that your daddy was the cheapest, richest man I knew. I mean, he was the cheapest, richest man that I ever met.
Daddy
That man
said, "Boy."
had money for days and always act like he was broke.
Daddy say, "Boy, we poor, we broke, we live in the ghetto."
Oh my goodness.
So
But
that's the way I treated money. I held on.
that's
I
the
held
way
on to money like that.
you did. You did. Even when you had money, you act like you ain't had none. Even when, and I'm gonna tell you, y'all, that saved us a lot of times. Cause Pastor E, like, I ain't even gonna lie, I love my crabs. I got an expensive lifestyle. Me, I got an expensive lifestyle. My son got an expensive lifestyle. Somebody in this house got to be the one. And Dad, he the one. Dad keep the money. Now, he act like we broke all the time. It's good.
There's a certain amount of money in the budget that I have to carry over
To
monthly.
the next month. To the next month. If
I
we don't,
always been like that when I started my first job.
yeah. And so your family relationship with money is going to either be a help or a hindrance. And getting a handle on that early. If your family had a big relationship with debt and credit cards and all of those types of things, those things carry over. So you got to deal with that.
Yeah, you learn
Pre-marriage.
you learn habits by the ones you're closer to.
That's it. So prayerfully pre-marriage for sure. Yeah, I sure will. We will,
Yeah,
Marcus. We're gonna definitely get into that.
that's
Um,
good.
yeah, and two, your relationship with money, like your personal relationship with money. If you know you're coming into a relationship with bad credit, with a lot of debt. I mean, when we first had that conversation, what did you think about that? Now, when we first got, let me go back to the beginning. When we first got in our relationship, Pastor Will made double what I made. So I was definitely coming in the door
I
with
made I
not.
made I made double what she made, but I owed double of what she owed too. Woo,
I
man.
had money in my savings account, and I did.
So when I my first, when I came out of high school, I went to UDC for 2 semesters, and it was back in the day. There was no internet, so books weren't online. You actually had to go to the bookstore to buy the book. So I walked into the book. I went to the bookstore, and I brought my book out of the bookstore at UDC back in the day, and I opened the first page, and the credit card application fell out. It was Discover Card, and I applied, and Discover Card gave me all this beautiful credit.
And what did
And
you do? Tell the story. Tell the story. What did you go do?
so my go-go band, we needed band equipment. And so I was like, look, I made them a deal. I said, look, if y'all gonna pay me the money back, we'll get the instruments. If y'all
No,
gonna pay me the money
no.
back. And of course, everybody was like, yeah, Will, we got you, Will, we got you, Will.
Did they make one payment, boo?
They made the first payment.
Woo! The
They
devil planted that credit card out in his
the
book.
devil
The devil planted that credit in his book for sure.
They made the
Yeah.
first payment. They made the first payment.
And that was that.
That was it. And
Oh,
I
man.
rode with that for
I
like
got
7 years. With that credit card, and it caught up with me. So when we got married, I had about whatever that bill was, like $9,000 a debt looming.
That was a lot back then.
And I told Pastor, but I told her straight up. I said, "This is my debt. This is what I owe." And I ain't talking about this is what the creditors are coming at me for.
And so he was like, when we became one with that debt, yo. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't think about that, but your relationship with money also goes into your relationship. And so, yeah, so we, I was going from no credit to negative credit. I was going to credit. And so your relationship with money is important. Number 3, my lifestyle versus my money. And I think these are 3 perspectives you got to just hone in on.
Yeah.
What's your lifestyle versus the money that you want to make? What is do you have, we call it, at my job, we call it champagne problems. Champagne problems when somebody got a lot of money and they have a lot of money problem. But do you have champagne dreams? Not problems. Do you have champagne dreams with a water lifestyle? This water, okay, you get this water about $350 and that champagne about $500. Like, do you have really your money saying you need to go get a bottle of water? But your dreams are champagne and you live a lifestyle that's champagne.
Right.
Leasing cars, all the things. And so these are 3 elements I think that it is going to take to start to get into before you get, because you're talking about dating God's way, marry God's way, that you got to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we got a couple of questions tonight. Y'all ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get to the first question because I would Kanisha started out the gate. Do couples put their relationship goals first or their money first? Whoever makes the money makes the decisions.
Yeah. So I can't tell you what couples do.
Yeah,
I can tell you what
we do.
I can tell you what this couple do. So Pastor E wisely help us keep our relationship priority. So our relationship has always come first. At many times I wanted to put money there, because money answers all things. and without it, you can't do nothing.
You crazy.
but love love isn't free, but love is invaluable.
Yeah.
And
It's a
so
different
it
cost
was,
to it.
yeah, there's no cost on it. So it
I
was
said a
important
different
it
cost
was
to it.
important for us. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
important for us to keep our put our relationship first before money. Um, so and whoever makes the most money makes the decisions, right? And so we make decisions unilaterally. We make them together.
We won. We
We
won.
won.
We're not making
Yeah,
decisions. Pastor Will not going to buy no car. We ain't talking about it. Let's just get all the way in it,
yeah.
right? He not going to buy a car and me and him not having a discussion because we are one. It's not because I own the money or he own the money. It's our money.
I mean, do I have to ask Pastor every time I go to Walmart? No.
No, absolutely not. Do I have
But
to ask him every time I go to Macy's? No.
no. But if I'm making a big ticket purchase,
That's correct.
I do call and be like, "Hey, do we got this? Can we handle? Do we got anything coming up that that this is going to impact?
That's right. That's
Things
right.
of that nature." So
yeah, any long-term commitments require the both of us. Anything that we got to pay on for time period and or it's going to suck out of there. We got to do that. We got to talk about it.
and like in business, especially if you work front office, you have an escrow account, or they call it escrow account, or a petty cash account. So certain amounts of money you can go just run off and get certain office items without approval.
Yeah.
But if you got to buy somebody a computer, I'm sure that computer, $1,500 computer, you need a couple of approvals for that, because that has to go through some kind of procurement.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's the way we kind of
do. Yeah, running like a business. I mean, it's true. Our threshold has went up over the years, but also it's still there. We know what that line is. Yeah. So let's touch on giving within this context tonight. We talk about money.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rough one for us, because I'm gonna just tell you, I've always been, when I made $10.83, I still remember when I made $10.83, I tithed, period. And I lived with my best friend at the time. We had a townhome. I had to pay my half of the rent of that townhome, my utilities, and I never missed my tithes. Like, I did not play with tithes and offering. So then when I got with Pastor Will, I was always an above and beyond giver. I'm like, man, I'm giving over my tithes. I'm trying to figure out like how to give over tithes. And Pastor Will, I just told y'all he like his daddy. So he like, y'all, we broke. We was always broke when we wasn't broke, y'all. I mean, what'd you say? I can't hear you.
We were.
Oh, you making phrases. I thought you was actually talking. We were not broke. And so we did have to come to agreement on giving beyond. Isn't that right, Pastor?
I disagree.
We did not?
I disagree.
Talk to me about it.
Okay, so I adjusted my spending habits to Pastor E's giving habits.
Oh, that's true, for sure. That's what I meant by adjustment. You know what though? It is true, because I really believe in giving to the kingdom, but also I think it does go back to our conversations about ministry and other things. That's what we came to agreement at. That is true.
Yeah.
So, we did come to agreement there.
I'm a giver, and Pastor E is a giver. She has a couple of R's after that. But honestly, but when I look back over my life, it's the giving that what put us in this place that we are today.
Absolutely. It was the sowing that had gave us this reaping for sure. So I do think,
and I'm not saying this on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. This is not a strategy to
come get money for Pastor E.
No, and this is not a strategy to persuade God to put you in another tax bracket. No,
but it's a spiritual principle.
It's a spiritual principle.
You do reap.
Right.
So I do believe in that principle. I also believe the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And so for me, it was very biblically based, but also we never gave from a perspective of we could not eat, our kids couldn't go to daycare. I mean, I'm just
Right.
talking about real practical stuff. Like we never gave to a point where our lights was going to get cut off. Nothing like that. So I do want to be clear because I do know in this money context, sometimes with church, people give and they give their rent, they give their mortgage payment. I'm not talking about nothing crazy like that. I think when we talk about lifestyle versus money, the giving lifestyle is my lifestyle. So I understood that if I want to be in this place of giving, I need to listen to Pastor Will and also make more money. I
Like
could
I
be a
said,
better giver.
I mentioned that time I got fired back in 2001. Soon after, and that was soon after we brought a new townhouse,
We
a
just
house,
bought our first house.
and we had two mortgages on that house. It was two mortgage.
Split.
It was split mortgage. It was two mortgages on that house, both with balloon payments at the end of the term.
My goodness.
And so that
Somebody got us.
so it was based on the mortgage. What was loaned was based on what our both of our salaries together.
Sure.
So when we went down to one salary, yeah, it was the giving that kept us in that house because we should have lost that house.
Absolutely. That 3 months when you were unemployed, I mean, it should have been another way.
But
So yeah,
I was unemployed, but I still went to the bowling alley.
he
I
did.
still went to family reunions.
He did.
And that was a lot because of my dad too. He really helped us out during that time. even though he was broke. Even though he was broke, he helped. He didn't carry us a lot, but he did help us. Him and mom helped us.
Giving does not negate wisdom.
Yeah.
And it all comes together. That God will sometimes, of course, ask you to do things, and you like, what? But that's not every month. It's not every day. There is an element of the wisdom of God, and so I do think that's a caution, Pastor. That don't go crazy with it.
Yeah. Also, giving breaks strongholds, y'all. Giving breaks strongholds.
For sure.
And sometimes you have to give your way out of a stronghold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's just a preachy point.
That's all right. Preachy point always good. Yeah. Okay. What negative mindset towards money did either of you had to shift when you got married?
Yeah.
Ooh,
So I go back to my analogy of holding tight to it. I had to break the negativity of being cheap.
what about our honeymoon? Oh my
yes, God. That's what I'm alluding to. Not in using the fear of losing money to be the catalyst of holding our relationship back.
Yeah.
Not taking some of the not taking some of the time off that we should have taken because of my fear of money or not having money. Yeah.
Yeah, the fear of losing money. It is real. The fear of losing money is real for him. And I will say it's never real for me though. And that is like I think that's the thing that probably keeps us balanced because I never have a fear of losing money. I'm like, if I lose this money, I will go make more. And I don't know why I think that, but I do. Maybe it's the way my faith's set up. I don't know. But I've always felt like that. I'm like, look, if I have 1083, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it do exactly what it needs to do. I think my negative mindset that I brought in towards money when we first got married, I like to spend money. And the negative part about that is I will, sometimes I was a big giver, meaning like open up our home, like just all the things without really the wisdom. I just left wisdom out. And that was a negative. I didn't have wisdom in it at all. I was just like, yes, all the people, bring in the babies, the people, the poop. I mean, I was just like doing all the things. And Pastor Will, y'all, he's so sweet. He was just like, okay, this is what we doing, boo. Okay. And so I had to get in the mind frame of like, I am a married woman, like we are children, like just I mean, I'm talking about even after we had kids, I still had to break some of that mentality that really was my grandma of like, I don't care if you have your last penny, you're gonna split that penny with somebody else. And some of that seems good and it's not always good. You need wisdom along with it. It cannot be give until you have nothing and y'all all don't have nothing, because that don't make sense. And so that was some of the negativity I had to break.
Yeah.
You glad about that, Will?
Not that I'm glad, but that's good. That was good.
Good. Okay. Because that's how you made a face. You made a ponder face. Okay. So let's get into something very deep. I want to get real deep into it before we break this off.
Okay.
Should Christians get prenuptials?
No.
This came up in my research and I want to hear your opinion on it. One of the things that came in was like, okay, I got you. We got you, Marcus. Thank you. One of the things that came up was this kind of argument about Christians and prenuptials. And I guess, I did research on it, so I have an opinion, but do you have an opinion?
Should Christians get prenups? So a prenup is a contractual agreement that protects your assets before going into marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So in this day, it's a good question, especially as we talk about the unbalance of salaries and the unbalance, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we have to have a discussion about whose money is it? Whose money is it? And
so once you get married, whose money is it?
And yeah, when we get married, whose money is it?
Interesting.
And do we co-sign everything? Is what's yours and what's mine?
Interesting.
It gets into that deeper conversation about separate but married.
Separate but married. Very interesting.
And so I believe that when you go into marriage, you should not go into it with a thought or hint of divorce. However, if you have a history of divorce,
you might need a prenup. Yeah.
If you have a history of running away from commitments,
yes,
then you may need to fact check that person and do a prenup just to see if, not even just to see, but to protect yourself from them running on you and then you having to take care of them for the next 10, 15 years of their life.
Yeah, I mean, I think, some of the situations where you should never get a prenup is when it's driven by emotions.
Yeah.
You have a fear of being taken advantage of. You have a fear of divorce. You have a fear, or you have a desire for control. You have a previous marriage that you was hurt with. You have negative experience with money. None of those reasons should be a reason to get a prenup. But I hear you that there could be legitimate reasons, like somebody's writing the comments, an inheritance or something that's being passed down.
Right.
Those could be legitimate spaces. Someone has significant debt before the marriage. Now, I think that's a really important point, that it can go both ways though.
Right.
So like, if someone has significant debt, maybe you get a prenup, so that's not your responsibility.
I mean, somebody come in with kids, and they have
trust.
Child support payments. Sure. I don't think the other person would want to be involved in that kind of, that was something else. And concerning the inheritance and family properties passed down, I would ask, is there another kind of agreement that could protect those things outside of a prenup, right? So that would be my question: is that can those things be written, or can an agreement be written up to protect those inheritance or properties in case of and in case of a marriage breakdown? But here it is: we don't
We
speak
don't go
divorce.
off a marriage breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, like, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because one day we will possibly inherit something, right? Like something from somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our it is our inheritance. And so I think, it after you are married, I think when the oneness does begin, there is a difference in mindset that I think that does occur. Your pre-marriage mindset is different than your after-marriage mindset.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna say this about the inheritance and the family properties I passed down too, though. If I'm xed out of it, which I'm good with,
Yeah.
don't
You
ask me to up. Don't ask me to upkeep it.
That's
Don't
right.
don't ask me to go cut the grass over around the corner.
You responsible, and that's the type of things that bring division into your marriage.
Yeah,
At
it
the end
really
of the
does.
day, if it's like, if that's yours, then that's your responsibility. If it's your debt, if it's your inheritance, if it's your this, if it's your that, then it's a line then that's drawn of like you responsible for it all the way through.
You should not expect me to spend my time on it. I think you can ask me, and
Yeah,
I would tell you yes out of the kindness and out of the gratefulness of my heart.
yeah,
But to have an expectation of, well, we married anyway, so you should be doing this. Not if I don't,
yeah.
if I don't have an
I'm
interest
not
in
in
it.
it. Yeah, I'm not in
Yeah.
it. I'm not in it. And so I do think that becomes tricky, particularly when you get into parents, like who parents gonna live with, who gonna take care of the property. I would not have any other way but me and Will be partners in it on both sides of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard if you are married to kind of X off parts of your life that could be big. So that's what I say about that.
So this is not a marriage count. I don't think this is a marriage counseling question. I think this is a go sit with your lawyer question. go,
Yeah, I
go,
mean,
go.
I think, marriage counseling is not gonna go into prenup per se. Like that's a legal conversation. I agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah. Okay. So, in your opinion, what's a good balance between stewarding your money well, saving, and being a generous, cheerful giver? Woo!
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think as I will talk as the biggest giver on this. The person who loves to give. I do love to give, y'all. I love to give. Hey, Tata.
Hey, Tata.
Taco popping there. I think that, I think the good balance is making sure you have wisdom around how much money, emergency fund that you have in the bank. Like that has to be a priority. And making sure that you have rainy day, flat tire day, that you have something other than debt that you can lean back on. I think that is a biblical principle too, right? It's like you the in Proverbs when it talks about having something stored up, right? It's like that is a piece of wisdom too. And so I think, the balance is, am I being a good steward over my savings and emergency, as great as I'm being a steward over being a generous giver? I think it has to be the balance is I'm doing both. And I'm seeding into both. I understand the value of both. I don't put one over the other. In other words, if saving is also a kingdom principle. And so, me making sure that my family can be taken care of in a situation is me being a good steward. And that's my mindset shift that needed to change. I needed to see them both being very kingdom driven, valuable, because I saw just like being a generous, cheerful giver as this is the goal. And it's like, no, both have to be the goal. If I want to be healthy, both have to be the goal. If I want my family to be healthy, both have to be the goal. What you say about that, Pastor?
Yeah. And so I I think also the good balance is that, you know, like we talked about, being a cheerful giver is spiritual. Um, but it's also being the cheerful giver is also um, having some kind of idea of what's my cheerful giving limit.
Now here we go. This is Daddy Real coming in with the wisdom. Go ahead, I'm
Yeah.
listening. Tell about it.
Dear Lord, what's my limit today? What's my limit? And also knowing that, or or um Lord, I know you're going to supply all my needs, and I know that you have led me to give you this, or give this away. So Lord, my all reliance is in you, and I know that you will provide. That's my prayer,
Yeah.
right? But with the understanding that on my way home I can't stop at McDonald's.
That's right. That we make sacrifices for. That's a very great point, because we will make sacrifices for cheerful giving.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things that we do, is that if we decide that night we are led to give to some kingdom venture or person or whatever, we both look at each other. We know that, man, look, we ain't going out for dinner or, all these weeks or those weeks. Like, we just not doing it. So, like, I think it's that understanding too that helps you to utilize wisdom and be good stewards. That's really good, Will. That's true.
So I say the good balance is the Holy Spirit.
That's it. That's it.
The good balance is the Holy Spirit, and allowing the Holy Spirit to balance you out, and you not trying to do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I will, I will leave us with a few scriptures tonight, because I feel like we might need them. Proverbs 13:7 says, one person pretends to be rich but has nothing. Another pretends to be poor but has abundant wealth. Until you shift your mind about how much value money is, because the person who pretends to be rich, in other words, the person that may think that their 100K job, their 150 job has made them rich, really has nothing. And I think that's an important perspective to have. If money is so big to you, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for your relationship. The other scripture that I like, go ahead.
It's this saying called house poor.
Oh, yes.
And the definition of being house poor is buying a home, but then not able to furnish it or to window dress it, because the goal was to get the house and not really live in the house.
Yeah.
Or have a life in the house.
Yeah.
So, you put up a facade that, you had a big house, but you can't invite nobody over because they don't have nowhere to sit.
Yeah, you had a car, but now you can't eat. You gotta go eat crackers and peanut butter because you bought the car.
Because
house poor, car poor, you can be all the poors.
So you have to, and so going back to our conversation, you have to ask, and I would have to ask, Kevin Samuels, I still see some of his videos coming, and but these women talk about having a high value man.
My goodness.
Having a high value man, or a man that's have 6-figure salaries. What's the purpose? Is it is it for to say I have a high value man, or a high value man likes me?
Yeah.
Does this have
motive?
Right. Does this high value man validate the poverty, impoverished woman that you may be?
Yeah.
Does it make you something because you felt like you got a high value man?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I watch a lot of these videos now many of these videos come up, and we watch them. I'm sorry, the real hip hop stars of everything, and they all got money. I mean, they millionaires over and over again. They're making good money, hundreds and millions of thousands of dollars, but their spirits are so impoverished.
It's true.
And so I think this conversation really has to take a turn for people, not about how much somebody makes.
Yeah.
What about you? what's the value? How do you value yourself, your inner self,
Yeah,
beyond the dollar figure? But yeah,
that's right. Who are you
who are
beyond the
you?
money you make? That's
Yeah,
good. I got my last 2 points here, Pastor. Is 4 things on earth are small, yet they are extremely wise. This is my part. Ants are not a strong people, yet they store up their food in the summer. In other words, in other words, you may not have the most money, but you need to store up some food for when times get small, and or when times are famished. That's important. My last,
yeah.
this goes with this one. Idle.
Hold up, Pastor E.
Go.
So we was at dinner. I like go back
I'll
to
go
your
back to my
last
last
scripture.
one. Okay, I'm going back.
We were at dinner the other night on Saturday. And I went outside and I saw these little red ants, and they were in a line, and one was going real fast towards the target. And so if you look at ants, they go one to two places. They go back to their colony or they go to the food source.
Hmm.
And I saw how these ants, how they just lined up, going back and forth from the food source, taking the food source back to their colony.
Mm.
And they were so efficient in doing. I mean, I was really amazed watching these small little ants do this big task. And so ants are not strong people,
They
yet
surprise. Yeah.
they know how to store up their food.
Yeah.
Learn how to store.
Learn how to store.
Learn how to store something. Learn how to save something.
For sure.
For sure.
That was my hardest one.
It's
Going
good.
back. My last one. Idle hands make one poor, but diligent hands bring riches. The son who gathers during summer is prudent. The son who sleeps during harvest is disgraceful. Diligent hands make riches. So if you want to bring something in, your hands got to be diligent.
Yeah.
Your hands got to be, you got to put your hands in it. But also make sure you gathering and not sleeping.
Yeah.
Make sure you're putting your harvest away and not eating all of it. Help us, Jesus, not eat all the harvest at Roof Crest and all the places. Oh my goodness. Help us not to eat all of the harvest with crabs.
Hey man, that's good.
Wow. So yeah, this I enjoyed tonight's topic. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah, I have fun. Thank you.
I did have fun. I had fun. And I think my takeaway lesson from tonight also in using our relationship is the more you value one another, the less value money has to hold over you.
Ooh, say that again.
The more you value one another, the less value money has over your relationship. So I appreciate you, Will, for valuing me. As I
Appreciate
went
you.
from 25,000 to many more thousands than that now.
I appreciate you for making me a stay at home. You're about to make me a full-time student in a minute.
I was going to say not stay home dad because the kids is in college. Don't even try it.
Yeah, you about to make me a full-time. I just need to knock these classes out. So
I can't.
we got a discussion to have.
Y'all, this was not supposed to lead to a discussion.
We have a discussion.
Well, they in God's way. That's that today. 4-time scholar.
Hey, full-time Kanish.
No, niche. No.
Hey.
No 4-time scholar.
Hey.
Not no 4-time scholar. I have a 4-time scholar. He is 17.
And 40.
Period.
Hey.
Hey. One 4-time scholar at a time, Kanisha.
Hey, family. I don't think I'm going to be on next week because next week is my birthday.
Next week is his birthday, y'all.
So, Pastor E, you may have to hold it down the whole week. I don't know. We'll see. But I got a birthday coming.
I got you. Hey, I might have a guest star, maybe, unless we out and we gone. Is it your actual birthday Tuesday?
Monday is my birthday.
Monday's your birthday. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Labor
Okay,
Day.
we'll see. We will see.
We will see.
Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight for Dating God's Way.
This was
$1
awesome.
bill, y'all.
Dollar bill.
Love you
Well,
guys so much.
hey, so
Great night.
thank y'all for joining.
Yes.
God bless you guys.
Bless y'all.
And we gonna outro.
Out.